Good afternoon, everyone. We've got a few people still coming in through the lobby, so we'll give it just one more minute before we kick off here. Waiting on that, I'll go ahead and get my screen shared.
Oh, there we go.
A few more coming in. So
You know that old saying, Mike, the more the merrier, right?
it's great to have a party here on a Monday
It
afternoon.
is.
So.
It is.
All right. Well, it's 1:30, so I want to be respectful of everyone's time. We still have a few people coming in through the lobby, but good afternoon, everyone. We're excited to be here today, and thank you to all of you for joining. We're excited to discuss the return of investment for automating your cash. So we're going to be focusing today on cash recyclers and payment reconciliation. I'm Mike Baldinger. I'm a co-founder with Evention, and joining me on the screen as well is Pat Johnson, CEO of MIMO Cash Handling Services. So together today, we're going to be exploring how MIMO's cash recycling hardware and Evention's payment reconciliation solution can deliver significant cost savings, improve operations, and that's going to be both for the front of the house and the back of the house, and how we can enhance your compliance for your business. So that's what we're going to be covering today. And again, appreciate everybody joining us. So just to outline the agenda, we'll give a short introduction to both companies, and then we're going to dive right in. So we'll start with an overview of traditional cash management challenges, and then we're going to move into what digitizing cash can look like with a fully automated cash process. We'll highlight how MIMO's cash recyclers and Evention's reconciliation platform work together to reinvent your operations, reduce your manual work, and offer, of course, a significant ROI. We'll also be leaving some time at the end for Q&A. And for those of you that are in the webinar chat, there's also a way to submit questions there. So we'll take advantage of that as well. All right. So really just to kick things off, to give an overview of Evention for anyone that does not know us. We're proud to we just had our 20th anniversary birthday as a company. So we're based here in Chicago, and very proud to be one of the best and brightest companies to work for 4 years in a row. That means a great deal to us. We work across 60 countries, supporting both hospitality and retail clients all over the globe. And we offer a full payment reconciliation platform. And that means we do credit card payment reconciliation as well as cash reconciliation payment. And that's what we'll be talking about today.
All right. I guess I'm up, huh, Mike?
Yep. Over to you,
All
Pat.
right. Hi, everybody. I'm Pat Johnson. I'm the CEO and chief enthusiast for MIMO. We're coming up on our 15th year in business this January, so we're very proud of that. We were founded in 2010, although I have been in the safe industry with every kind of safe you can imagine since 1977. Oh boy, that's aging myself, but there you go. We've done a lot of things with other people's products and then decided in 2010 to start building our own here in Aurora, Illinois. So we actually build the MIMOs. We own our own software now. We have our own integration team to do the integrations, and we have our own API, which allows us to do that. It's really unheard of in the olden days that a woman would be in this industry. So I'm proud to have been in it this long and plan on staying in it for a few more years at least. We're happy to partner with Evention because many of our customers want more than what we have in our software as far as the back supporting documentation for cash management and cash reconciliation. So grateful to be here and hope you guys all learned something and ask us any questions you need while we're on this so we can help you out.
All right. So I'm going to just start with what is manual cash management. And the reality is the cash process has really evolved very little in the past 100 years, the past several decades. The process is really just fraught with human error and theft, as well as in the current environment, a lot of staffing challenges to support it. And there is just such a significant opportunity to improve your cash management and payment reconciliation processes. The state of the art process in many organizations today is manually counting cash and using spreadsheets. So what I'd like you to do is, imagine a world where your devices issue the tills out to your cashiers, they count and secure those deposits, and all payments are automatically reconciled against your point of sale. Your overs and shorts are immediately highlighted via workflows, and you have all of this integrated into your accounting system. I hope you leave the session today with some true excitement about how modernizing your cash process can really be a game changer for your company. So let's talk about payment reconciliation and why is it critical to your business. Imagine running a business where all of your payment discrepancies are a mystery. And without accurate reconciliation, a number of different challenges can arise. We've got financial losses, errors, theft, fraud, all those things can slip through the cracks unnoticed, and that can erode your revenue over time. Cash flow issues. If you have unidentified discrepancies, that can disrupt your cash flow, causing delays and other uncertainty. Tax and compliance problems. Inaccurate reporting can lead to incorrect tax filings, risking fines and other legal issues downstream. And then you get into operational inefficiencies. Manual efforts to investigate discrepancies are going to drain your resources, leading you to have less time to focus on your customers. And then that gets into customer dissatisfaction. You've got anything from payment errors when it comes to your credit cards to having your people behind a desk instead of out there in front of the customers, and that's what can ultimately damage your reputation. And finally, inaccurate financial reporting. Skewed data affects your understanding of your business performance, and we want to help you streamline all of that and get to that accuracy. So implementing a robust reconciliation cash automation process, including transaction level matching, training the staff, doing regular audits, it's all essential. And automating this process can reduce lost revenue and ensure that financial health. So let's go back to that state of the art reconciliation and spreadsheets that many businesses use today. We all know cash management can be complex, it can be labor intensive, it can be prone to human error and security risk. But many organizations still rely on spreadsheets and that manual data entry. And the first stat up here on the screen is from a study by University of Hawaii and PricewaterhouseCoopers. It's scary, but it's also not surprising. 90% of spreadsheets used in business contain errors. So you simply don't want inaccuracy with your payments. So let's now dive into the automated cash management process and how we're going to address those different challenges. As Pat mentioned, MIMO and Evention have created solutions that handle cash counting, tip outs, transaction logging, and reconciliation automatically. And that all is going to reduce the time spent on those different cash management tasks. This is going to mean fewer errors, stronger compliance, and more focus on high value tasks for your staff. So with that, I'll pass it back over to Pat.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So the main thing that our customers tell us when they're buying a MIMO or when they're thinking about it or when they're using one is that every minute really does count. When you're counting and sorting cash by hand and you're doing it many, many times in the same day, it's just ridiculous amounts of wasted time. When the machine is doing it, it's a much more efficient system. The money comes out directly to the cashier. The money gets put back into the unit directly by the cashier. And even if they need to make change, they can go up to the unit, put in a large note, get out smaller notes. These are all things I show when I'm out on the road with our RV and making sure that people understand from looking at it, touching it, and feeling it in the RV that it really will save them the time. There are other cash recyclers out there, and we're not the first to come up with them. But what we are great as is our software. And our software is what's going to set us apart. Besides having, the bill validation and counterfeit detection and all the things that you want when you're putting money in and out of a machine, you want to also be able to have the reporting that can then tie in with Evention. So MIMO can say to Evention, here's everything that employee put into our machine today or took out of our machine. And it helps with the over and short reports that Evention's trying to do. So it's a really good camaraderie between the two companies to say, okay, here's our manual putting the money in and getting the money out, but here's the back office reporting from MIMO that also integrates with Evention. It's just a streamlining of everything you want to do with cash in your business. This is just one spec of one of our machines. We have various machines, bigger, smaller. Our newest machine coming up is the new deposit MIMO Smart Safe for depositing only. So if you did want to have a safe just to put deposits into for an armored car company, we'd have that. But this is the specs of the larger unit called the MIMO 200. Some customers want two of these with one coin machine. Some, like in cannabis, just want to cash. They don't want to deal with coin. Whatever you want, we can do it. But this is just to give you a sample of our larger machine and what the capacity is in the notes. So each cassette holds up to two, or takes in each deposit 200 notes, up to 200 notes, and gives out 200. So if you're making a till that's got $200, $250, and it's 60, 70, 80 notes, 100 notes, it's all going to come out in one transaction, and that's fast. And if you're putting it back in and you've got lots of money, then it might take 2 or 3 times for the door to open up, the little door that the money goes into, the cash pocket, and get that money put in. What we're really after here is time savings and not having you count and recount employees' money. Let the machine do that for you. This is a quick video showing you the machine in process. We'll let you watch that. Not sure if there's any sound on that, Mike.
The audio might not be going through for the webinar.
Okay. So basically we're just showing you that manual counting that woman was doing. And now this is how easy it is to log into the MIMO. Many different ways you can log in. Many different cash tills can fit in there to receive coin directly into the till if you wanted to. We're headquartered in Aurora, Illinois. We have a lot of other products that work alongside MIMO. For example, if you wanted a dual verification, you could use one of our cash counters and say, okay, you just counted all this money. Now you're putting it into MIMO. MIMO's connected to the cash counter and says, yes, Pat Johnson just put in $1,500 into the cash counter and she just deposited $1,500 into the MIMO. This helps to eliminate discrepancies with how much somebody is doing. And there's just some companies that must have dual verification. And so that's going to show up on your reports too. So that's everything MIMO does right there on the left. And on the right, how we look for it to help you with your return on investment on the right. And we do have an ROI form that can be sent out to you that you fill out, and we can tell you within a couple of minutes how long it'll take to pay for your MIMO, because it is a good investment, but we still want you to see what's the time savings going to be. For one large customer where we put about 700 units in, their ROI was less than 7 months. Now, they're a large retailer, so we get that. Everybody's not going to have that same cost savings. But we guarantee you're going to have a cost savings that should most likely be under 2 years. Okay, so where can the MIMO cash recyclers give you some cost savings? Well, as far as hotel operations go and retailers, I mean, we're in cannabis, we're in convenience stores, we're in casinos, hotels, resorts, amusement parks. There's lots of different areas. You all know those because you know how your operation runs. So in a hotel industry, for example, the restaurant, the bar areas, the cafes, even the shops, the retail shops in hotels, all of those can benefit from having this cash handling. All their people can go get the money when they need to. I remember a chain of movie theaters, and they got their MIMO, and like within a week or two, one of their managers didn't show up for work. And we got the nicest email from them saying, it didn't matter. Each of our employees just went up to their MIMO. The security staff let them in the building because management wasn't there to let them in. They went right to their MIMOs, got their starting tills, and started to work. And that's the idea of how you're going to streamline operations with letting other people do the tasks of getting their cash without waiting for someone to hand it to them. And then, of course, having our own API, we can talk to your POS. So we can say, hey, your POS said this person did this amount of work today. And MIMO says the same thing. And then with Mike and Eventions and their back office software, you could go into even more detail than that. This is a typical screen. We have many different screens and can make whatever anybody needs. We do that all the time. This one's showing tips. So if you're in a business that needs to give out tips, the other one is start a till, end a till, get change, do a midday drop, break a bill, pool your tips, put your cash and coin at the same time, and do a tip test. These are just sample reports. We have many, many reports that are already in the machine that you can pick to get what you want done. But tips has been a new one for us because the customers have been asking for it. And we love that. We love that relationship with our customers where they will say, hey, can you guys do this? And we're like, yep, we can. And we've gotten some great ideas from customers. In fact, one customer I went to see out in Utah said, I want to show you something. And she took a note and she crumpled it up in her hand. I said, oh, don't do that. Don't put that in MIMO. And she said, oh, no, watch. And she took out a straightener, a hair straightener. And she had it on low heat and she just straightened that note and it was a little wet in no time. And the thing went in like it was brand new. So I said, okay, I think we have to give her an award and add a hair straightener to every MIMO that goes out the door from now on. So this is just a sample menu for tip out procedures. Um, Mike, is this one going to be you?
Yeah, and this
Okay.
is really just a discussion of why we've been working together, and as Pat described, all of the different efficiencies that the cash device delivers, that really can streamline your operational processes. Everything from tills going out, tills coming in, cash tips going back out, and what we'll be showing in a little bit is how that integration between MIMO and the Evention total recon system streamlines the rest of the process downstream. So we'll show the workflows, the over and short reporting, the tracking, and then the integration to your general ledger as well downstream.
Right.
And Pat, back to you.
Okay. So again, from every employee can access the system. You give them their permissions. So if it's just a cashier, I would imagine all you want them to do is get their starting till, maybe make a midday drop if they have too much money in their till, and then put their money in at the end of their shift. And then possibly they can go and exchange a large note for smaller notes or smaller notes for a larger note, whatever you want them to be able to do. All the permissions are up to you. Then you would have, your hotel CFO or your head accountants, anybody that is allowed to use the cloud back office admin software. Now, our admin software allows people to work remotely and yet get all the information they want to know about their cash position. How much money's still in MIMO? Do I need to refill it? Is the deposit getting full? Is there a jam? Is there a problem? Anything you want to know, you can get with the remote process that we've just developed with our back office admin program. So that's not going to go for everyone. That's going to go for people that really need to see what's going on and be in the management level position. And we at MIMO have a compliance assurance. So we maintain all these transaction logs. We can go back and look at every single thing that's happened, every touch of the machine. We've got the audit trails. All of our customers, retailers, everybody wants this kind of information if there's ever a problem with an employee. Also, you want the requirements such as the AML and the KYC regulations to be handled. And we can do that by having the type of information that comes out of our reporting system. And putting that together with the Eventions software, it's just a win-win all the way around, which is one of the reasons we wanted to partner with Evention. So we have an analysis that we give you that can compare what you're paying for labor, what you're saving in time, what you've paid for your MIMO, everything that you can imagine you need to say, okay, is this really going to pay for itself? I was just at a customer that is a museum and has the need for 4 MIMOs, which I was surprised at, but I learned more about their business, which was awesome. I also had our RV with me so they could actually step inside of it and see the machines being used. And we did their calculation on the spot. I mean, we literally sat there and said, okay, how many employees use the machine? What are you paying them per hour? What if they didn't have to do this, that, and the other? All the efficiencies that can be gained by using a MIMO. And by the way, just to say, MIMO stands for money in, money out, which I know some of you on this call already know that because I met with you in person. But I want to make sure that you're realizing that this labor savings is what you're after. And besides that, having the accuracy. Oh my gosh. You know, an employee, you'll watch them use the machine for the first few times and they're counting every bill before they put it in and they're counting every note when they get it out. And after about 5 or 6 times, they're not counting anymore. They're just grabbing the money and going because they know the machine is 100% accurate, at least on cash. Once in a while, a coin can bounce in a coin till, in a cash till. And we all know that. But for the most part, the machine is very accurate. And I would say, again, 100% on cash. Just coin will give us a little bit of trouble once in a while.
All right. Thank you, Pat.
Sure.
So one of the major advantages of the automation is the ability to address discrepancies, overs and shorts, very swiftly. So Evention's reconciliation platform helps in resolving any of those types of exceptions at the transaction, at the cashier, or at the till level by providing like instantaneous access to that detail and a link directly between what's going on the device and what's happening in the POS systems, your credit card systems, your acquirers, and of course, the cash device. So this capability of that automated reconciliation allows your business to quickly identify, investigate, and correct any of those exceptions or inconsistencies. And ultimately, that's what ensures your financial records are accurate and you have minimal disruption to the business. So Eventu's payment reconciliation platform streamlines the process of cash, which we've been talking about. We also can reconcile your credit card transactions. And so what this really gives you is one seamless connection with the cash hardware, with MIMO, along with all of your other payment systems in one platform. So it gives you a unified view of all of that reconciliation across your various methods of payment and all of your different channels. So it's really this holistic approach that not only reduces your errors, but it also saves your team time, as accounting teams can now handle all reconciliations in a single centralized place. So digging into the cash process, just to kind of walk through the typical flow, we've got Total Recon, our reconciliation platform, in the middle. But all of those transactions that Pat described, those till checkouts, till check-ins, the tips, all of that information flows directly from the MIMO device into the reconciliation platform. So now we know all of the transactions that have occurred. In addition, all of the POS or property management system data also flows in. So now we have a record of all of the transactions that were posted. And ideally, those two should exactly match. The reality is you will have overs and shorts and exceptions, and that's what the system will identify right here in the middle. We'll show you some of the workflows downstream that will alert your managers of any of those larger overs and shorts. And then finally, all of this data can be transmitted downstream into your accounting system, into your general ledger. So that way, the total of the cash collected, the total of your cash that was posted, your variances, and then all of the detail behind those in the system. So one of the core strengths of that automated reconciliation solution is the ability to provide that transaction level visibility. And so each of those different transactions can be recorded, but additionally, all of that data can be managed and tracked at your general ledger visibility as well. So what I'm showing here are examples of those totals that can be posted into the accounting system downstream. So it's the combination of both, that overall top level reporting along with the detail reporting, which I'll show next, that gives you that full visibility of what's going on with your operations. So this is an example of the detail level reporting. Now, in this example, we're showing cashier level reconciliation, which means for each of the different cashiers that worked, and this is a hotel example here, we can see the different departments and then the total that they dropped into MIMO, which is this column here, the audit amount, which is the amount that they posted into the point of sale, and then the variance. So we can see Robert California was $1 short here, but if we look down here in the front office, we had Oscar and Phyllis that were over $20 short individually. So that's the level of visibility that you have as a management team to know exactly where your overs and shorts are, all the way down to the cashier level. This also can be done at a till level in a case where you're not doing cashier level reconciliation, but managing a till reconciliation instead. If we go over into the over and short management, this is an example of what that looks like in the user interface. So for any of those cashiers that had a overshort over your threshold, and the example we're using here is $20. So anybody that's over that threshold, they show up in the system as what we call a cash violation. And now as the management team, you have the ability to go in, select the status of that violation. Maybe it's still under investigation. Maybe it's been cleared and you found it was a true over or short. Maybe it was money that was found on the floor and they deposited and that's why they're over, and you're going to mark that as a non-violation. All of that is there with the ability to add in comments, attachments, so you've got a complete compliant audit review of all of your larger overs and shorts. And then when we get into all of the overs and shorts, not just your larger variances, that visibility and that reporting is available across any date range. So here's an example for 10 days over the month of December, and we can see every single over and short, some just a few pennies, other a larger amount, and all of that visibility is there. This can be filtered to a specific cashier, department, to an individual location. And some of the things that you can see here are running amounts, the counts of the overs and shorts. So here we had a cashier that had 10 shortages over a 10-day range. Maybe they were all underneath our threshold, but those are the types of analytics and data that the platform will bring forward. And really just to kind of wrap up, Evention's focus here is to automate all of your processes and connect those systems to enable you to have that automation. So whether it's your MIMO recycler, your credit card acquirers, your accounting system, your POS, it's the centralization of that data across all of those fragmented tech stacks that gives you an integrated view and control in the Total Recon platform. And I'll end here by just saying, we're excited just to be able to help you on your automation journey. Our teams of industry experts are, based here out of Chicago. Pat's actually a neighbor of ours as well in the suburbs of Chicago. But yeah, we truly love working with our clients. Just like Pat mentioned earlier, we want to hear feedback from our customers and clients, and we want to make your processes more efficient. So our clients are really our partners, and we want to work together with you to optimize your business. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your time today, and we'd like to open it up to any questions and answers that we can provide, either from myself or from Pat.
Come on, be brave. Somebody say something.
And there's also the ability to use the chat function in the Teams if you'd like, and there's also a Q&A panel. So if you want to type instead of talk, we can definitely take the questions that way.
Also, I want to just remind you that, our email addresses, mine is P as in Pat, Johnson, JOHNSON, at MIMO, MIMO, -LLC.com. And we do come out with our RV. It's a 32-foot long RV showroom with the actual MIMOs inside of it, so you can actually see them work. If that's anything you'd be interested in or anyone else you know, please let us know because we're constantly setting up more trips to get in front of people. We used to do trade shows. We'll still do some once in a while, but we found that this method really helped us to get in front of people without hoping they stop by a booth because they get so busy at trade shows. So love to see you anytime.
It looks like we have a question here.
All right.
That's how do you scale for businesses of different sizes? Am I saying that correctly, Liz?
Yes, but it looks like Dale as well is looking can
We don't
you
see these, right?
Yeah, Dale, if you want to message in the chat, that would be a little bit easier. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and talk about scaling, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, so from the and I'll let you chat through this as well, Pat. But from the invention side of things, we have customers from single location, whether it's a hotel, a restaurant, a grocery store, up to national chains, and all of that data that we've been talking about. You've got the visibility both at the location level, where you can see the overs and shorts there, and then at the enterprise level, where you can see all of your cash positions and what's going on at that enterprise view as well. And Pat, I'll let you answer that from your side.
Yeah, and then the same thing here, except that scaling is also about what size machine you need and what type of machine. And do you only have to set up 2 or 3 or 4 tills a day? Then you maybe don't need the 200. If you're setting up anything over 8 to 9 tills a day, you probably do need it. Cash counters, do you need one that it just lets the same denomination go through and through, or do you need something that does all 5 denominations at once? So we're happy to work with people that need one MIMO to people that need 700 MIMOs. It's all a matter of what's going to help you save time in your business.
Another question that often comes up, and I'll just throw it out there because I know it'll probably be on a few people's minds, is how do we integrate with your different systems that are out there? And from the invention side, we have the ability to really receive or connect to pretty much any system of record that's out there. It's a point of sale system, a property management system. Also on the accounting side of the equation, if you want us to post to your general ledger, we can do a push downstream to that, or we can keep it as simplified as you want, where we generate a general ledger posting that goes to you through workflow, and then you can post that through your normal processes. So lots of different ways to connect. On our website, it shows a number of the connectors that we already have in place, but we're constantly adding more and can even work with homegrown systems as well. It looks like another question came
Go
in.
ahead.
How do you know which transaction caused an over or short? The over shorts are found after the cash has been deposited. So that's correct. So on the cash reconciliation, the over shorts are typically on the either cashier level or on the till level. So all of the cash that was deposited by Mike, if I go back to MIMO and deposit, my totals, so I took out $300 to start my shift. I made a bunch of sales, and at the end of my shift, I dropped 900. So I have a cash drop in that case of $600. That should match my POS cash sales for the day. If it doesn't, we're going to flag Mike as having an over or short in that case. We could do the same thing at a till level. When we talk about a transaction level over short or exception, a lot of times we'll do that with credit card payments, where we match a credit card posting in the POS to the credit card payment in the acquirer. And for all of those, there should be matches. But if you have 1,000 credit card transactions for the day, you might have 5 exceptions. Those are what we bring forward to you with that transaction ID, so you can find those postings and make the corrective entries against those.
And then, of course, MIMO's doing a similar thing just from the beginning part, not from all the way up to what Mike's speaking about. So you can see in our reporting if there's been discrepancies also with what's gone into the machine based on the sales, if we have integrated to your POS, which we have the ability to do with our API. We're also working on the ability to integrate with HR systems. And I think this is very important too, because if somebody is fired, we want them out of the MIMO system immediately and not able to do anything. So again, all these different integration projects that Evention can do and we can do are all to help you streamline everything you're trying to do.
There's another question that came through. Can you match cash transactions from one company product with another company product without integrations with the two products together? I'll answer that, and let's just assume you have a business where maybe you have the need for recyclers in some of the bigger operations, but you have some existing smart safes, or maybe a cash counter. That is something that we can receive the feeds from multiple different streams, and those all can still be reconciled back against a point of sale and provide that same level of visibility. Just hopped over to the Q&A chat. I was getting some in the chat and some in the Q&A. I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting. Do you connect with QuickBooks Enterprise Desktop, or do you have the ability to create an IIF file upload? Yes. So for the file upload, we would just need your specific specs for what you need, what accounts, what the format needs to look like for your organization, and then we will generate a export to exactly match your specification so that we can handle that for that posting. Do you need the currency counter to feed the machine, or can you feed the denoms directly into MIMO for processing? Pat, I'll let you answer that one.
You can do it either way. So you can either have it be a manual process or you can have it be an automated process. We think the automated is better because you've got the actual machine counting the cash counter, and then that information is being fed right into the MIMO back office software. But either way will work.
Another question, do your clients prefer to have dual controls with armored carriers to access the deposit cassettes? If yes, are the national vendors trained on accessing the MIMO hardware?
Yes, they can be trained. And I'm having a challenge because I'm not seeing the question, Mike. So I need to read it like a few times and I'm not seeing it. So I don't know where to look for it.
If you click on the chat in the upper window.
Thank you. Thank you. That might help me. I was looking at questions. Okay, there we go. Okay, dual control with armor carriers to access the deposit cassettes. So a couple of ways that can be handled. Number one, the deposit cassette is usually the first cassette in MIMO. So you can have it be that you use a special lock that we have where the signal is sent to the armored car person. So it's a one-time combination. So they can open it and have access only to that first cassette. There's a locking bar so they don't have ability to get to the other cassettes. Or it can be your person is there with them, which we love. I think that's better, although we've done it both ways. And we can absolutely train them how to do the hardware. So when it's a dual access, then obviously you're there at your machine, you open it up, pull out that first cassette, or if you have two deposit cassettes, because you can set up MIMO however you want. There's 5 cassettes in there. You can say, I want deposit, ones, 5s, 20s, whatever you want. And then open it up, put it in directly into the armored car's bank bag, close it back up and put it back inside the machine. So that's the most typical way that it's done. Some people just take the whole cassette out and put a blank cassette in of the deposit cassette and store that full cassette in a safe or somewhere else until the armored car comes, and then do the process that way. Whatever you need to do, we are easily able to show the armored car companies how to do it.
Now I'm bouncing back over to the Q&A side. So there's another question. It says the most important question, how much? But Pat, I know that you have a wide range of hardware and all of that, but you just kind of want to talk through how you size and.
Yeah, I mean, from the largest MIMO, you're looking at about $65,000 all in, meaning delivery, installation, training, the product, the warranty, all that. From a smaller one, like a deposit, a MIMO Smart Safe, which is just for depositing money in, you're looking at about 8,000. So you have a range in there. It just depends on what you need. Some people want cash only. I know a few of my cannabis customers recently want cash only, and that's about 45,000. So there's lots of different ways to do it, and that is all worked out when we do your cash analysis, because then we can see everything you're trying to do and say, okay, let's scale this back. let's scale this forward. Again, the museum I was at recently wanted 4 of our largest machines. And I said, okay, can we just go over this a few more times in the RV? I want you to understand how the smaller product works. You've only got 4 people going to use it. Let's talk about why this can work okay for you. And we got done and they said, wow, thank you so much for your honesty. That's great. That saves us a lot of money. And now we can have 2 large machines and 2 small machines. So it's all about really listening and realizing we're in a partnership here. We want you to be happy for a long time. And I know Mike does too. And that's going to bring us all more business. And that's what it's all about. So happy to talk to you about all the pricing and send you proposals. We send out a full proposal. Mike does too, that can show you everything you're going to get and what's that going to cost.
All right. Oh, I might have gotten one more that just came
Yeah.
in.
Is that under chat?
That's under chat. So MIMO
Got it.
200 is total capacity for coins, the sum of all coin denominations listed, or is it either or?
The MIMO coin capacity on that sheet that we had up on the thing showed you how many quarters, how many pennies, how many nickels, how many dimes our hoppers will hold. Now, I'm glad you brought that up, Sanjay, because we're in the middle of making a smaller MIMO coin recycler because many customers said to us, hey, we love this, but it's huge. We don't have this much coin. Well, they do if they're a casino, blah, blah, blah. But as a smaller operation, they didn't. So we have a new coin machine coming out in January that'll be a smaller version. It'll be one denomination of pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters one hopper instead of 2 hoppers of each, giving you those large amounts. So I hope that answered your question.
And then there's another question about the Evention software and the pricing there. So yes, the Evention software is not included in the with the hardware. It's an optional subscription, and we base that also on what you're reconciling. So are you doing your cash? Are you doing your credit cards? How many different acquirers? What POS systems? And so we'll set that up really optimized to your business and your processes. And we're happy, and on the QR code that's on the screen, if you scan that or go to our website, we can set up a demo and walk you through all of the different options that are available, and of course the pricing for that as well.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, the reason we did an integration with Evention is because we recognize that the type of information they're able to give our customers is so much more than what we were able to do. So we're able to do plenty with the MIMO and the back office and everything that we've got going on. But when you start talking about all the other peripherals that you have in your business, we wanted to partner with somebody that could handle that as well. So like Mike said, I'm sure he'd be able to give you guys a quote on exactly what they can do after a meeting one-on-one. Lena.
All right. Well, I know we're just coming up to the end of the session, so really appreciate everybody joining today. This was great. Thank you for all the questions as well. That's very appreciated because we want this to be valuable to you on both sides. So again, this is Mike, and I want to thank you from the Evention side.
Yep, and Pat Johnson over at MIMO, Money in, Money Out. Want to thank you guys. This has been really fun. I love going out on the road and doing the RV, but I got to tell you, sometimes driving in Manhattan with a 32-foot RV is a bit of a challenge. And if I didn't have the help I had from the museum people, I don't know how I would have got through those streets. Nevertheless, still willing to go out there and still willing to do it, but really love this whole way of doing it and meeting all of you today, as little as we did. But next time, maybe pictures of everybody too, huh? All right. Any more questions? Or are we all set? Okay, hope we've answered everything. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great rest of your afternoon.
Yeah, take care all. Happy holidays too.